What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crawl TV. This is episode 6 of the ROKBUGY playlist, and I'm sure you're all wondering why it has taken over a month since the last upload. There's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that I really don't want to get too deep into with you guys because that's not the point of this channel, but just because the question will come up, where is Steph? She is at home. She has breast cancer. She just had surgery. We've been through a lot in the last few months, and so she's not going to be in a lot of these upcoming videos while she goes through all of her treatment and recovery. Anyways, we are back at the shop here at Rockstar Garage, and I want to get back into rolling these videos out every Tuesday, so we're going to jump right into where we left off and get back to work on the frame, on the fish plates that we're making for the frame, and kind of get back up to speed with what's happening with the bug. We're currently working on it right now. I'm still a few episodes ahead of you guys. My project for today has been taking all of the stuff that we don't need for this bug project and getting it back to my house and out of this shop finally. We have the front end with the beam, the back end with the trailing arms, all of the fenders, the motor, the transmission, the seats, all the lights, bezels, hinges, brackets, nuts, bolts, everything. So most of this car is going in the trash. I'm keeping this stuff plus the mobile wagon wheels and a few other things for future car projects because I know I will have more Volkswagens in my life, but this is the stuff that we're not keeping for ROKBUGY. Let's get in the shop, catch up where we left off, and get these episodes rolling out every week again. All right, guys, so we are back in the shop at the Rockstar Garage here, and today we're working on more cutting. Yes, that is right. Third day in a row now, we seem to have cut everything possible off of this car, but there's still a little bit more to get rid of. Right now, Nick has a laser level set up, and so what he's doing is he's getting the frame rails on the back squared away. We went and picked up some metal. I didn't, but what was that, this morning or last night?
This morning.
So Nick got metal this morning while I was on my way up here, and he got it cut. He's got the frame rails set right now, and the laser is actually helping us get those square. So we have a temporary cross member in the back between the frame rails, and that's what we put in yesterday. And so today what he did was he got that laser set up so that he can actually tell where true center is on that frame, and then he can get those frame rails set to the correct spacing so that everything actually lines up once we get this tacked in place. Right now what he's doing is he's tracing the rear deck lid because we're going to be cutting that. That's actually where our rear bumper is going to be going. And because this shop has such controllable lighting, we have the shop doors closed. We've got the light under control so that we can actually see exactly what we're doing. We've got the lights directly above us shut off. Now that we have those lines marked, we can go ahead and cut them. So Alexa, all lights on. Now the laser's gone, we're ready to get back to work on cutting, grinding, and then probably a lot of welding coming up here soon. So here's our laser level, and you can see it centered on the car, and even through that keyhole in the back, you can see it centered inside. There's our mark on the frame, which is true center, and there's actually lasers on the corner of these frames. Oh no, it's above it now, because we're marking this line on the deck lid.
To check height on these and distance to make sure everything's lined up.
Getting frames square is extremely important and not super easy, but technology is definitely making it a little bit better for us these days. So that's where we're at now, and these lines on the rear deck lid are where we're going to be cutting. We're actually going to be using the higher line there. There will be a crossbar in the rear that closes the frame, and that will be the rear bumper for the new front engine Volkswagen Bug. Here's where we're at. We have these rear frame rails keyed for a rear bumper bar to go in here. We'll probably end up doing a tube bent around the rear bar with dimple die for a step on the back, but we have to get the frame tied in first, and then the later fabrication bumpers and stuff is kind of pretty far down the road right now. But Steph just ran out to get more material. We need a couple more feet of this square tubing to do that. I just finished up cleaning up these cuts so that we can angle cut that piece when she gets back and weld that in the back here and make sure everything is square once again. And then we'll be putting a couple more welds on these frame rails before we do the fish plating and everything to kind of keep them secure. So that's where we're at right now. Nick cut this back door very precisely, and it actually matches that laser line like perfectly. So it's gonna look really cool once that hatch is functional, and it's kind of a tiny trunk piece on the back of this car. It's all coming together like really, really well right now. And the more that we work on this car, the more excited I am about it, because everything is just kind of fitting together. And when you put the PRP seats in there and those big Mickey Thompson tires, and you kind of imagine what this thing is going to look like when it's done, it's really insane. And so the more we work on it, the more hyped we get about it, and the more cool ideas we're coming up with to make this thing as unique and just absolutely insane as possible. So I'll be thinking about this all weekend after today is done, when we're done working for the day. Really, really pumped on how it's come together so far. All right, guys, so we have the back end welded together now. Steph and I went through and used a flap disc to smooth out these welds so that everything is nice and smooth. This back bumper end was actually keyed into the frame rails here, so it's seamless. And everything is now a little bit more structural on the back end too. Nick came through earlier and put some welds down on the frame rails where it connects to the Jeep JK frame. We still have to go through, clean those welds up, and then we'll be fish plating those to secure them a little bit better, give this a little bit more structural support, considering the fact that it's gonna have huge axles, huge tires, huge suspension. The frame needs to be able to handle all of that stress. So we'll be reinforcing this quite a bit to make sure that that is ready to go. And that is, I think, our main goal for today in the shop, is just getting this frame really finish welded. Pretty much everything in the center of the frame where we stretched it and then compressed it and then stretched it a little bit again, all that's tack welded right now. So we have to go through that, put finishing welds on that, fish plate this. We've got plate on the plasma table, so we'll cut out our diagrams and get that put in today. And I think that our end result for the day is just to have that done. So we are moving right along. Steph is here now. She's the one holding the camera. And everything's looking great. So like I said a minute ago, it's just so exciting to see all of this kind of come together. The more we work on this, the more excited I am to see what the finished result looks like. But one day at a time, we're getting there.
I'm so in love with you. You got me down again.
All right, guys, so Steph and I have been running some errands around the Southern California region. We went from here to Riverside, from Riverside to another place in Riverside, and then to a tire and wheel shop, which is like that. Anyways, we've been all over the place. I'm getting yelled at here. We're back in the shop now, and while we were gone, Nick took our paper cutouts that look like this paper here, and he turned them into metal cutouts. So he's yelling at me again because I'm supposed to be over there at the plasma table. What he's going to show us next is how to make these fish plates out of this 3/16 plate on the plasma table. So what we did is we made the paper templates. He transferred those to files for the plasma table, and the plasma table turns them into real metal fish plates. So driver's side's done. We're working on the passenger side now. Let's run over to the plasma table and see what that looks like. So this is the plasma table, and yes, that is the world's smallest Volkswagen concept. We have the plate set up here, and the files are already ready to cut, but we just need Steph to hit that green button, and then the plasma table will start cutting.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it. Wait, not that green button. I'm just kidding.
You got me down again.
Okay, so this line is where we actually have to bend it. You can see I made marks there. We come over here to our handy dandy redneck press.
That was it for this day in the shop. We got that last fish plate cut, and we decided to tack it in place and go home. It's an hour drive from the shop to our house, and we really needed to take showers and get all that grime off of us, and we were ready to come back the next Friday and get right back to work. Okay, so here we are. Pretty good.